しでつる羽美学英雄なんてどこにいても見つかるはずもなくてだけどいつかは今の過去のやる潜む過去のままで知らずに済むその手ファンファンファンによってかって落ちて手に入れたい闇の先光ってモンスターアイズ世間の目見えたフェイト夜に眠れないスター High cross high cross stars I can feel in my bones 今ずっと探してた私のルベリウス特別な君の音が聞こえてる燃えてるこの
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Legends Machine, and welcome to the final week of round number 3 to Last Chance Tournament. This is the competitor's last chance to get to the top 5 until last chance. And my gosh, adrenaline will be kicking as we will send out my invites to the people that have not played. Jazz is one of the first, and also Little, who also is going to be one of those competitors, I believe.
Let's go. I made it in. Let's
Get
go,
Vander in
baby.
here.
Let's go, baby. We got Ritus. Hold up, Flex.
I'm gonna
Can
leave the
Flex
game.
join? Wait, can Flex join?
I'm leaving the game.
Is Flex gonna join? I'm inviting
I don't
Flex.
know.
I'm inviting Flex. I'm inviting Flex.
No one send invites. I will send out the invites.
Bro's already level
I'm so
240.
excited.
Bro's already level 240.
Send invites. I will send out the invite.
This is very exciting.
I will send out the invite.
Oh, you kicked Ritus.
No one, he's already played, so he can't join.
Oh,
Mute stream in the background, bro. I can hear that. No one,
It's little. It's little.
Who
Wait,
else?
it's Vander or is it little?
I turned it off. I turned the stream off.
I think Shadow's the only one who hasn't played as well.
Yeah, Shadow. Yeah.
I haven't played at all
with
either.
him. Yeah, invite Shadow. Invite Shadow. Oh no, I forgot. By the way, I got gifted this skin from Shadow.
Alright, everyone ready up?
But
I'm gonna mute everyone. Maybe I'll add werehogs, maybe. We'll see. But this is a building competition, so this is gonna be profoundly new to her. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final week of the rounds as we get set. Right now, we've only got 3 competitors as of right now. Well, actually, we got 4 of Shadow. No PS games, I haven't heard about that, but I can't talk to you right now because I'm doing this thing right now. So I can't talk to chat anymore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting underway here. Curb, please stop inviting me. You've already played, so you can't join. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we get set here. We've got 1 competitor already in. How many others we got here? We got Shadow, we got Vander, we got Little. We also got Jazz. So we got like a ton of competitors going off here. These guys have only 1 opportunity left to make it to the top 5. If they don't, they will be fighting in the last chance tournament. The other 5 will take a break from next week and wait for the finals from the following week coming up, as the finals will definitely be a sure test to the 10 competitors that will be coming into this tournament with chips on their shoulders. So we will find out from them as we speak with our first contestant. Jazz, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, Jazz, this is it. This is your last chance to make an effort. Week 3 of round 3. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good right now.
Well, the question that's on everyone's mind is, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I am really ready.
Alright, well, we'll see you down there. And next up, we'll speak with Little himself. Little, can you hear me?
Yes.
So how are you feeling right now, Little?
I'm great. My feeling is like better now.
Well, we know for a fact that you've played this kind of tournament before, so where's your mindset at?
What?
We know you've played this tournament before, so where's your mindset at?
I don't really know.
Well, we'll hope to see you in the tournament, and good luck out there. Now we'll go over to Vander. Vander, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, Vander, it seems like you're a little far behind, so what do you need to catch up and get out of the last place spot?
By like killing players and like getting like points and all that.
Well, we hope to see that, and if not, we'll hopefully see you in the Last Chance tournament. And finally is Shadow Groot. I think is also a new contestant. Yes, he is a new contestant. Shadow, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So as a new contestant, what do you need to get the amount of points to qualify in this tournament?
I'm not entirely sure, but I probably have no chance of winning anyway.
Well, we hope that isn't the case and you do manage to qualify, so good luck out there, Shadow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're nearing inches and inches closer to the end of this practice. Remember, guys, you only have a little bit of time to choose your combos. Practice your builds, and this is literally your last chance to choose your combos. Do all your edits, your builds, everything, and you're practicing your aim. Here we go. We're about to get set in literally 2 minutes. This will get underway. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the top 5 from this week will qualify to the finals. The others will have to face off in the Last Chance tournament. The rest of the people that don't play next week will be eliminated as posed. So here we go. We are going to get ourselves set as we are awaiting the following to make their approach. Everyone, lead the game. It's time. 4 contestants, but only the best of the best will prevail. As you know, the leaderboards have definitely shaped up here with 15 competitors, a 16th one about to be made in Shadow Groot. So we're going to find out just exactly where these 4 men mindset is at and see what they truly have to win. Vander, could you please lead the game? Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Remember, you only guys get 1 minute to select your combo, select what you need to get, and we are going to get ourselves set into this game mode. So select your combos wisely, because we are getting set for this battle. Four competitors. It all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So we got free so far, so we're just awaiting one more person make his way in the game here, and then we will begin the battle. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4. Here we go. This is about to start. Remember, 10 matches, and that's about it. 10 matches, and that's it to get these people their points, get them to where they need to be. Remember, I will be switched to spectate mode as here we go. We begin round number 1 of the final week here at Frosty Flights. The placement will roll in, and the battles will begin. And now we got Shadow Groot healing by that stair there. That's Vander just waiting, biding his time. Vander is definitely improved with what he's doing here, but now being sprayed there, that's by Shadow Groot. Shadow's gonna take a couple of his heals. He's just waiting, biding his time as Vander's forced to make his heals. He's making a little bit of builds here. He just wants to watch it behind, as now we got Shadow Groot in a wood box just waiting, and Little not in zone, but is making his way kind of close to it, but see those wooden builds over there? He's spotted out someone, I think, in the process. That is Shadow Groot taking a bit of fall damage, and now Little will get sprayed there by the corner there. That's Vander. Vander now taking a couple of shots off. Shadow Groot actually manages to take out Jazz. And from up top is Little, but Shadow takes out Little. Starting off here is Shadow and Vander, the final 2. But Vander has to rotate now because he's not in zone, but Shadow doesn't need to do all that since he has plenty of heals. Now wasting his last heal, but has no rotation. He has to pull back just a little bit more. Shadow looks like he's going to push, but now he's actually going to make the wise decision not to do that, as he's going to collect some heals now. He's going to drop his SMG for the heals, but now being sprayed there by Vander. Vander's got the blues. He's got a little bit of mats left, but look at how much mats that Shadow has compared to Vander's. Vander does not have a lot of mats left. Now he has to descent and try and get some motivation to try and get back into zone, but in his sights is Shadow trying to knock him down with that brick, and now Vander gonna try and forcefully get into zone here. He's going to try keeping himself in zone. He manages to catch the zone here. Now Shadow's forced to take those whites. Now inside the building. Vander still building up, not much mats left though. So he's got to be careful on that. Now wasting his last source of material. And now Vander will go down to Shadow Groot in the first game. The new competitor Shadow Groot taking out Vander. Remember, 10 matches, but that's all they need here. Shadow Groot already claiming a first place spot in this week right now of the weekend tournament. And here we go. We get set for our second game now. Second game underway. Here we go. Looks like we turn our attention over to Slappy for our next game here tonight as we get set for some good fun here. Already Jazz taking out Shadow Groot in the process. Jazz just gets hit over there with an AR. I think that could have been Vander. And now Little taking a massive amount of fall damage as now from the ridge there's Jazz with that SMG. Taking a couple shots there is now waiting. Sees that he's getting some splash off. There's Little taking some splash off. He has some blues, but doesn't want to waste too many of it. So now Little's going to not try and waste too much of his heals, but he gets hit in the process. Jazz with a little bit of blues. Vander's perfect on his health and shield problem. He just got to get some more mats back. He's going to do that right now, but Vander sees in the focus there. Some movement. There's Little now. Kind of moving a bit weird here. I don't know what's going on now. He's moving back to normal now. Back again with the weird movement. Maybe a little glitch there. And now Jazz now trying to fire back at Vander there. Now Vander not going to try and take the fight here. Vander now making his slow rotation. Little camping in the steel box, but now Jazz is more closer into zone than Little and Vander is. And it seems like Little and Vander are going to start to make the fight here. Vander making a couple builds up. Taking a big pot here, and now Little building. And Jazz now forcing to move in the circle here. A gunshot has been heard. Now Vander's making a rotation. But from above is Little in the storm, just trying to take some shotgun shots off. He's literally camping zones for as long as he can. He's making all the edits he can to stay in the zone, but underneath him there, that's Jazz. Jazz missing the shotgun shot. Little now making the edit, and Little will take out Jazz out of the process. And now Vander now is going to make some builds. Little now is forced to be moved in to a brick box, and now he's taking a big pot. Now Vander trying to take shots from above, but look out behind him is now, here comes Little. Vander now making a reload. He only has one big pot left and barely little mats. But Little has a little, like a lot of steel, very little white wood heals, which he's gonna make his builds up. Vander has the perfect height right now, but not all that much build, so he has to descent down. As now he's going to make the builds here to stay up away from it all. And now Vander, the last place person, will take a win here today in the second round. Beautiful by Vander, as now that will put him in the first place of this week, but Shadow behind. And we're only in our third match coming up now, as this has only been game number 2, and now we're on game number 3. Looks like we go over to Frenzy Fields for our next game. The placements roll in, and now Vander taking some shots there with that person that just made a rotation. I think that was Little, actually. Little made a rotation, and now Jazz is looking to try and push Little, and now Jazz taking out Little. In the process of that fight there is now Vander making a rotation. Shadow, who is in zone, just camping up on his wood, doesn't need to make a rotation. He's just sitting there waiting. And now Jazz has got that launcher now. That's going to really help for rotations for bad zones, like not this one, because he is kind of in zone now, but you can see that wood box up there where Shadow's staying. Now Vander is going to move. Now Shadow's going to take some shots up. And now he's going to try and shoot Jazz out of the air, as Jazz now landed down inside the building. Shadow's going to just stay up on the high ground, though. Not trying to conserve too much of his mats, but here comes Vander now taking some shots. Shadow hits some amount of good shots up. And now Shadow being shot from above, as that's Jazz just chilling there. As now Shadow's gonna launch himself toward Vander here. Vander doesn't know about it, now he does. And here comes Shadow. Shadow makes the mantle up. Vander makes the elimination. Now here comes Jazz. And Vander just making a couple builds. He managed to get the edit through. Now Jazz is playing low ground with Vander here. He has the amount of mats to play the low ground, but Vander making every single build, and Vander will take this win, and Jazz trying to mantle up on everything. And Vander will take this one. Beautiful win there, back to back on the second round and third round. Only 6 more rounds after this. And Vander now maybe coming back from getting knocked down on the last place lead, will probably most likely get his score back up from being bumped down from last place into trying to get himself a place away from last place. And now we got Slappy again for our 4th round here. The placement now rolls in. Vander making his walkthrough, trying to get some mats back. Shadow making his builds here. And now Little is fighting Jazz, and Jazz will unfortunately go down to Little. And now Vander will make the builds, as Vander and Shadow Group, the only 2 men that managed to score themselves a win here. Little now trying to get that chance, but now Shadow Group will take out Little. So now it's between the 2 men that have gotten victories, Vander and Shadow. Shadow touches down on the ground with that launcher, oblivious at the fact that Vander is right behind him. He's taken a couple of slaps here. He's got a slurp and some chug splashes. I don't think he wants to use those just yet. He's going to use his splashes though, as Vander not trying to take the peaks too much. Now Vander hits a very mild shot here, but Shadow knows that Vander's not fully in the zone. Vander will pop that slurp off. And now Shadow measuring up with his twin mag AR, looking. He managed to take another tag off of Vander here. Shadow just playing peaks with Vander's. Vander's trying to get closer into zone, which is a smart decision. You don't want to be too far into zone. Shadow now is going to make a launch up. Vander manages to hit a blue tag, but not enough to deliver the final blow he needed to. And now Vander now sees the Shadow Grid over. He's trying to locate where Vander might have been. He's breaking bushes and everything he can to keep his mats up. He hits a headshot there on Shadow. Now he's on 1 HP for his blue heals. But for Vander, it's okay for him because he has blues. But Shadow only has 1 slurp. He's going to be forced to take it. And now Vander's shield is cracked. That means that Vander doesn't have a lot left in the tank, as here comes Shadow Group and will eliminate him with the rocket ram. Shadow Groot will take the 4th win, or the 4th round win, I'm sorry, will take his 2nd win of the day as one of the newer contestants in this match. And here we go, we get set for round number 5, and 5 more rounds to go. And here we go. We get set for round number 5 here at Frenzy once again. Some of these locations are from procure like very known locations like Frenzy, Frosty, Slappy, and of course the ever popular Retail Row is also one of the locations you know about. Vander, Jazz, Little, and Shadow Groot. Little now is making a descent down from the tree. He's gonna make his run down. Only Jazz and Little are the only two competitors that have not gotten wins today, as now Shadow Groot, with only just a little bit of HP left, but so will Jazz, as Jazz will manage to take out Shadow, as now Vander will take shots at Jazz, as now Jazz forcing to make rotations through, as now with that thermal DMR there, Little just camping in corn, waiting. Jazz gonna take those minis. He's gonna make another rotation. Trying to sprint away as Vander will make it into zone. Little in zone and Jazz in zone. All three men in zone. Jazz, though, unfortunately, want to get rid of that thermal DMR more than anything else right now, as Vander now is kind of close to zone. Little is almost close to zone, but like Vander is the closest out of both of these men right now. Vander's just going to sit up on his perch waiting. And now Little's actually going to make the move of pushing. And from behind there is Jazz right beside Little. Little's going to be forced to move, but hiding behind a stack of hay bales is Jazz, as he sees Vander making a rotation down. An interesting choice using the thermal DMR, to be honest. And now Little is going to try and fight Jazz, as Jazz is not on a lot of HP and shield right now. Now Jazz is going to try and make the move on low ground. Vander going to do the same, but Little's going to stay on the high ground. Jazz will go down, unfortunately, to Little, as Little's the only man right now who doesn't have a victory in this tournament, as Vander has two, as now both men are extremely hurt. Vander going to take the shield, and now Vander being forced to move down as he doesn't want to get knocked from the high ground spot. Vander, though, has a slurp buff, has plenty of bricks. Well, actually not has a lot of mats left, so Little has plenty of mats, but he's got to take that big pot fast, and he's going to try and doing that right now. Vander now is just going to stay up there, as now Little going to try and be shot down here, is now Little going to keep the high ground advantage. 95 hit on Vander, as Vander now being forced to move with only 10 builds left in his name, 4 builds left in his name. He's going to get that refresh off of Jazz's body. He finally got some mats back, as now Little trying to hit some shots with that heavy shotgun and almost manages to catch Jazz there. Jazz now is being shot out here, as now Jazz will go down to Vander, or Little will go down to Vander, I apologize, and Little finally scoring his first win here today in this week. So 3 out of the 4 men have scored victories. Can Jazz bounce back from this? As we are going to try and see if Jazz could somehow bounce back from this after the only man to eliminate the entire whole people, the entire whole competitors in one whole match. Can he bounce back from this? As now we get set for Retail Row. This is the first time we actually make our moves here in Retail Row today. As the placement now rolls in, the 4 men will battle it out. We aim our attention over to Little. He's going to launch himself up. Vander now making his descent. Now Jazz is going to start gliding. He sees a box there. That's Shadow Groot, and he's taking shots off of Little. Little with only just a tiny bit of HP left. Can Shadow put the nail in the coffin for Little, as Little has very little white HP left. As I think Jazz trying to come in with that third party. As Vander now is just collecting some match. Jazz in zone, Little in zone, Shadow in zone. Vander, the only man who's not in zone, has to move now. Doesn't want to get spotty. He's going to take the sneaky approach. And now Jazz is fighting up against Shadow, as Shadow got a little too cocky there, and Jazz takes out Shadow in the process. And now we got Vander fighting Little. A little bit of retribution for Little, or retribution for Vander, I'm sorry, after going down to Little in the last round. Jazz now trying to make the third party, but in front of him, he doesn't notice that Vander is right in front of him, but Jazz knows now. Jazz taking out Vander, and in front of him, Little stays. Trying to make the right edit, actually trying to make the peak. Now both are extremely low, but Jazz is even more low, and Little managed to take out Jazz. Jazz kind of bounced back there for surviving, but not enough to secure a victory, as Little gets the victory there. 2 secured wins for each competitor. Jazz has to bounce back even more if he can try and secure himself a spot in the top 5. As we get ready for round number 7, only 3 rounds left to go until the end of this tournament, at the end of the weeks, until we get set for, yeah, that's right, the last chance tournament next week. The confirmed date will be on Saturday. As Little actually got some points after tagging me with a couple of those shots. As now Shadow Groot is making a whole little structure for himself. Interesting moves. There's Little actually spots out Jazz, and now Jazz is trying to get the eliminate point on Little here. As Little got bumped down to a couple of shields now, but now Little will go down to Shadow, as now Shadow with that twin Meg AR makes it look so easy. Trying to find an opening on somebody. But Vander sees Jazz out in the open. But now so does Shadow Groot. Shadow now sees Vander in a bit of a predicament. Vander now trying to use those splashes to keep himself alive here. Vander with no rotation. Shadow just waiting for his time to strike. Jazz just waiting in a building, not in zone yet. He's going to try and take that rotation, but he also took a slurp. Going to try and take a peek there on Shadow Groot, and now Shadow gets hit for a couple of blues. As Jazz, he's going to make the launch up, and now both being double sprayed there. Shadow now is low. Shadow taking some blues. But from behind is Vander, who waits and sits for the right moment to strike. Shadow now playing low ground as he's moving in. Vander waiting for someone to show up as he sees Shadow making the rotation. He sees Jazz all alone here. Now Jazz is going to manage to ring a shot through onto Vander. If Jazz can somehow hold his own here, he could get an absolute amazing victory. But now Vander takes a slurp off. So now he'll definitely get his shields back up on very little mats from Vander, but actually it's a bit of mats from Jazz here. As Jazz is just going to make a couple of mantles, but Vander now only with 112 HP to his name. Shadow Groot with 101. Jazz has 148. So it can go either way between these from these competitors here. Vander doesn't notice the horror here. Now he goes down with a bit of ball damage. Now Shadowgroot's gonna make the launch up with Vander struggling to rotate. Now Jazz has got to rotate out of there, who's getting stuck behind walls and everything in sight. Now he sees Shadowgroot right in front of him. Shadowgroot trying to make the rotation back as Jazz is continuously following through. He didn't mean to make that edit now, as now Shadow tried to take the kill off, and now Jazz finally securing a victory. Beautiful win there for Jazz. Way to go. Jazz is coming back now. As we're only down 2 more rounds left to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be it for the weekly rounds, as Last Chance Tournament will be next week, literally on Saturday, where all the remaining competitors will face off in a best of 5 to see which other 5 competitors will seize the moment to get into the finals here. The other 5 of this week's tournament will stay and will go on to the finals. So we're going to find out exactly who those 5 will be in the next 2 rounds, as the tally points will be decided, as Vander out in the wide open spots Shadowgroot, and Little's just sitting up there in that steel waiting for Shadowgroot to make a move, and now Vander sits there as well, looking at Shadow just making himself a nice little home. And Vander got hit for a lot of damage, but Little now sees Jazz there. Jazz took a nice leap down, trying to keep himself away from explosion of Little's shot. Now Vander sees Shadow making some shots over. Shadow now making the directive decision to try and push here. Maybe Little now is trying to shoot at Jazz. Jazz is trying to make the ultimate decision of pushing Little here, but interesting here is that he has no heals, so Jazz has got to try and win here by just playing low ground. He doesn't want to build too high, but from behind is Vander, who takes out Jazz, unfortunately, and Little will now start to make his shots. Taking a nice chunk of damage off of Vander. Vander not cracked yet. Vander still rotating away. Shadow just sneaking around these competitors, getting to every single zone imaginable. He's going to take his chances up on the high ground here, as Little starts to find Vander in a game of chicken here, as he's staying in the storm here. Little will stay in storm as well, but has very little whites left to his name and very little mats. And Vander gets hit from the top there of Little. Shadowroot with perfect mats and also perfect heals. And unfortunately for Little, he will go down. And for Vander, it has to be a struggle, since he's up, as Groot's up there on the top there, but he has to descent soon. But he has a perfect angle on Vander, as Shadow's going to make his descent. But he can hear Vander making the push. Vander now trying to go for the edit shotgun shot, but doesn't work. Shadow will take this one, and no problem. There's Shadow will take this one. All have victories, but only one man has free victories, but only one man right now in the lead with 202 points as of this week right now. That's Vander, it was the last place person who is bouncing back after getting bumped down to last place in the whole standings, could probably bounce back from this tournament. He just needs more kill points and more placement if he wants to win this. So he definitely would have to push every single fight imaginable if he wants to secure that spot. Shadow Groot now making the ditch effort to try and land down Vander, the guy who's been trying to keep his own here with 202 points right now, is trying to take lead. Jazz with 154 points right now is trying to get some motivation back, trying to get another win or more points to try and secure himself here. As we make our way over to Vander right now, the first place man just getting his mats back. And just, he gets his mats back now. As Shadow Groot's playing the wood hide game, as we can see the scores here shown up on the scoreboard right now. As you can see, it's up to here now as Vander taking out Little. You definitely want to go after those kills that look easy. Shadow Groot now kind of falling down here is now Jazz making a rotation now, as we're only down one more match after this, and that will be it for the storyline of the weekly tournament. And then it'll be last chances. Now Jazz is going to try and make that tackle on to Shadow Groot, who actually manages to hit the shot off. Jazz, though, from in front of him is Shadow Groot, but Vander takes that away from Jazz. Vander's gonna push this. He doesn't care that if Jazz is still needing to rotate here, as Jazz now is very low, but so is Vander. Vander now playing a bit of low ground. Here comes Jazz, who will launch himself up. He sees Vander out there in the wide open. Vander now and Jazz trying to see who becomes the winner here. Is now Jazz is going to be forced to take that slurp. Vander now is going to try and make the launch, who executes it perfectly, but can he keep away long enough to get away from Jazz? And he will. Vander now is going to take some slaps off, and now Jazz is waiting out in the wide open, just going to try and take shots at the builds. Vander now, who the last place player is for the standings right now, is trying to get some motivation back. If he can somehow get Jazz here, he could probably get a ton of points for this. He's got his launcher out and doesn't know where Jazz is, but Jazz is going to make his descent up, but so will Vander. But from behind, here comes Vander with only 50 left, but Vander's low, so Jazz only needs one good shot to ring here, and that'll be it for Vander. Vander's got to rotate from zone because he doesn't have very little mats left. But Vander, with only 30 HP, will take out Jazz in a last-ditch effort to try and get that one shot in before falling to Storm. Manages to do it. And Vander with a large lead, not needing to worry. If he could just try and secure one more win, he could probably go up by tons here. But this is it, the last round. May consider to be the most intense round of anyone in a tournament. And here we go. Let's see who goes down first and who manages to survive to live to tell the tale of how they won the final week here. As Vander now, the man himself, getting some mats back. Jazz is going to make the launch up. He actually got hit by a little bit. Little sits up on the hill just waiting. And then we go over to Shadow Groot, who's made himself another home up on the hill again. Just waiting. He can spot out a player under wood. That's Jazz. But Jazz knows where Shadow is now. Jazz is going to hopefully try and make his rotation out of here. But from in front of him, there's a player. That's, I think that's Little, actually. Making some shots here is Little, trying to get the moneymaker shot, and Little gets bumped down there by Jazz, as now Jazz will try and take the shot at Little, but Little and Jazz are both low, and Little will go down to Jazz. Unfortunately, that'll be it for Little for today, as now it's between Jazz, Vander, and Shadow, the final two, or the final three, my bad, in this tournament. Shadow getting the refresh from my body, and Jazz making the rotation up, who's going to try and drop in on Vander, but Vander, unfortunately, will not get hit. Vander now getting a little bit of a ring shot. Vander now forcing to build as high as he can. But Jazz, look at him. He doesn't want to build. He just rather make every single mantle instead of taking the fight by building. And Jazz now, look at this. He's just like a little, he's like a gorilla just mantling through every single build imaginable. And now here comes Jazz, who knocks Vander from fall damage, but Jazz has got to get out. And Shadow Groot will try and face off against Vander in a one-on-one situation, but Jazz, unfortunately, will go down to fall damage, and Vander got those placement points because of it, and the kill points because of it. Shadow actually just made history by scoring no eliminations with no damage. A first ever in a Legends Machine history. Everyone back to lobby, as we're going to try and conversate with people. I think Little, unfortunately, left the game, so we can't get an exclusive interview with him, but we'll try and get exclusive interviews. We'll try and get exclusive interviews with everyone else who didn't leave. As, my gosh, we're going to talk with, we'll talk with Jazz here. Well, Jazz, how'd you feel?
Bad. I'm just kidding. Good.
Well, Jazz, this is going to be it for the final of the weeks here. Where do you think you placed on this leaderboard?
Probably like 5th or something.
Well, the motivation is good, Jazz. I hope that motivation gets you to that place. I'll see you next time. And let's talk with Shadow Groot, who ultimately scored no kills with no damage for the first time ever in a Legends tournament. Shadow, how are you?
I'm good.
Well, you're up there with Vander and Maple now for a first ever. No kills and no damage done to anyone, and got away with the victory. Shadow, how do you feel?
Honestly, I had a bunch of fun playing that.
Well, Shadow, I know you're probably new to this, and I'll definitely see you for the last chance tournament if you don't make it to the qualifiers. Good luck, Shadow. And ladies and gentlemen, who ultimately got away with it from going from last place, who just took the first place lead for this whole week, Vander.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, well, the question that's on everyone's minds right now is that, are you feeling confident that you're getting out of that last place spot?
Yes. At the start, I felt like kind of like scared or whatever, but at the end, I was like confident. So yeah.
Well, Vander, I wish you the best of luck on the standings, and I'll see you in, hopefully, if not the last chance, in the finals. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, the next part will come as Little actually wanted to do an interview, so let me invite him for the interview here. 1 minute. Where is he? Here he is. Here, let me invite him to get the interview off. See if he wants to do an interview or not. Yeah, all right, he'll come in. Little, can you hear me? Oh, wait, I don't have them unmuted. Little, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, how did you feel in that whole tournament going in?
I put, I didn't,
Little, can you hear me now?
I don't really know. Because, like, I was getting third-partied a lot.
Well, we hope that you place good in the standings, and we'll see you in the next one, Little.
Alright, see ya.
Now comes the fun part of me tallying up the points. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got our standings now. The people that qualified are in first place with 1,058 points, Maple. In second with 936 points, Flicks. In third with 769 points, Swaxy. In fourth place with 728 points is Haley. And for fifth place is a change with 520 points, Jazz. And the people that must play in the last chance tournament is in sixth place with 502 points, Aces. In seventh place with 423 points, Curb. In eighth place with 414 points, Vander. In ninth place with 359 points, Elite. In 10th place with 350 points, Little. In 11th place with 330 points, Zane Bang. In 12th place with 323 points, Haas. In 13th place with 301 points, Kimura. In 14th place with 256 points, Trap Shot. In 15th place with 234 points, Shadow. And finally in 16th place, the final place, with 143 points, Shawzy. Ladies and gentlemen, the top 5 that qualified is Maple, Flicks, Swaxy, Haley, and Jazz. Those are the qualifying people that will move on to the finals. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a hand. Ladies and gentlemen, Maple, Flicks, Swaxy, Haley, and Jazz will go on to the finals. Not for next week, but for the following week. Congratulations. And to the other members, Aces, Curb, Vander, Elite, Little, Zane, Haas, Kimura, Trapshot, Shadow, Shawzy, I hope to see you in Last Chance Tournament next week on Saturday. My name is Legends Machine, the host of this tournament. We'll see you all for Last Chance Tournament.